हेलो दोस्तों, बिगनर्स पॉइंट में आपका स्वागत है। और अभी हम कर रहे हैं एरर डिटेक्शन। ठीक है, एरर को डिटेक्ट करना है। 170 क्वेश्चन कर लिए थे और रूल्स वगैरह भी पढ़ लिए हैं। तो फिर जिसने नहीं देखे, नहीं पढ़े, वो जाकर देख लेना। 171 क्वेश्चन। थ्रू देयर क्वालिफिकेशन स्पेन आर डाइवर्स रेंज, देयर इज एन इक्वल number of graduates and those who have just completed school, each set making up close to 30% of these households. No error, कोई error नहीं है, बिल्कुल एकदम सही है। As if the most dangerous moment for any dictatorship is when it starts to reform. North Korea looks ready to turn that tourism of its on its head. इसके ए में दिक्कत है, हैज शुड बी यूज्ड इन द प्लेस ऑफ हैज इफ। खाली हैज आएगा, हैज इफ नहीं आएगा। इट सो हैपन्स दैट दिस हैप्पी campy ritual is their way of life and one into which they don't particularly welcome voyeuristic instu- institutions. कोई error नहीं है। Much in the inflow of travelers that it is tough to book an air ticket to Ahmedabad, and the international flights too are almost overbooked. Inflow should not be used, flow should be used here. Inflow नहीं आएगा, क्या आएगा यहाँ पे? Flow आएगा। ठीक है। If the IPL has succeeded in drawing an audience across the country, it is because cricket has always has a strong foundation and a dedicated audience. कोई error नहीं है, एकदम सही है। In view of the intense cold wave conditions prevailing in the state, the government declared holidays in all the schools for a period of 10 days. कोई error नहीं है, एकदम सही है। The banner of Indian hockey today is lack of interest by the part of the public, which in turn is fueled fueled by the perception that it doesn't pay to take up the sport as a career. By should be replaced by from. By जो होगा replace कर देंगे हम इसको from से। In cities, people don't always have the time to catch up with old friends or spend times with their family. Times has the wrong uses here. We should use time instead. Experts believe that a gradually decreasing infant mortality rate is lead to a proportionate decrease in the size of our brains. कोई error नहीं, लेकिन error तो है। सी में error है। सी में क्या error है? There is a belief, so is should be replaced by can. is जो है replace किससे कर देंगे हम? यहाँ पे can lead हो जाएगा। In just 2 months after having planted these, most of the plants have either dried up and are suffering due to lack of maintenance. We should replace and by or, या फिर either or is pair used in pair always when there is two conditions with alternate possibilities. The band have been performing at many cause-oriented concerts to encourage people to come forward and lend their support to the noble cause. The band has whole considered to be singular, so has should be used in place to of have. Illegal sand mining has become a boom business fueled by the ever increasing demand of the construction industry. A booming business is correct expression to be used. This gives us the sense of growing business. As market leaders, we have always been at the forefront of creating awareness between the public. Public is plural and more than two, so between is to be replaced by the use of among. The manager complimented her team for meeting targets and performing with excellence. There is an error of spelling. Complimented should be complimented. यहाँ पे ई की जगह पे क्या आएगा? आई आ जाएगा। स्पेलिंग गलत। The ongoing conflict brought up information and insights that would have to be digested by both parties at a later time. There is an error of spelling insights should be insight. ये spelling होगी वो गलत लिखी है. There are a number of factors in render a country suitable or unsuitable for the rapid development of commercial aviation. All correct answer E सही है. The woman gave the beggar a big sum of money to show him her caring and concern. Beggar is correct spelling should be beggar. A आएगा. The best way of attracting someone's rapt attention is to give them the rare experience of being fully heard. Heard is inappropriate use heard. The youth did not dare to venture with the sea as it was high tide. Venture in should be used here to agree to the use of preposition with certain words. A young sales manager who is about to resign his job despite his success in the organization. Resign from should be used as the correct expression. The difference between a successful person and others is not lack of knowledge but a lack of will. A lack of is correct phrasal expression to be used here. After my interview by the selection panel, I was waiting for a response, but they did not revert back. Back is superfluous when used with revert. The teacher uses anecdotes to help her students relate better to the subjects taught in class. कोई error नहीं है. Further trials have added weight on his finding. An expert panel concluded there was no evidence to recommend beta-carotene supplement for the general population and strong evidence to recommend that smokers avoid it. Way to correct expression to be used here. Had I known it earlier, I would had made a different plan. Would is a model and it will be followed by V1. So have is to be used. If you decide to strengthen out a lot of things in your life all at once, it is probable that you will achieve nothing. कोई error नहीं. It is important not to direct people too much and to let them find their own way. Use of to before let is wrong and superfluous, so to is to be removed. Product planners in the production units work intimately with program managers to defining new ideas for products or product features. 2 plus V1 is used for purpose, so we have to remove defining, use define here. I will always remember the advice from my supervisors as I work on phones. Smile did not I did it did not matter that they cannot see you will sound friendly and happy. Advice should be followed by off. We should follow the advice of our teachers. To our knowledge, no one foresaw exactly how fast and how big the PC market had grown in the years to come. Had grown should make way for will grow to show the future event. Result would have been much different had he projected himself into the minds of the masses of ordinary people and asked himself these questions. Use asked in the place of ask because and is a coordinate connector and it agrees to the same verb from to both of its side. He deserved and attained the honor. It had all begun in the brightly lit room as I dreamily ran my fingers over the surfaced of globe. Surfaced is a wrong usage. It is correct to use surface only. On writing the book, we cannot overemphasize the unique opportunity we have had to probe boldly and freely into the organization. On should be replaced with while to show the continuity of action. More than half the food products targeted at babies and toddlers have a high sugar content and are excessive sweet. Use excessively in the place of excessive has an adverb can qualify adjective sweet. The foreign company has so far declined to directly comment on the Indian company's move, which analysts say is a sign the company waiting to fight for its presence in the market. Want is a stative verb and it should not be used in the progressive form. After 40 years of trying to understand why asbestos causes cancer, researchers have now finally unraveled the mystery. Asbestos is used plural form and thus verb should be plural with it. Hence we should use cause. A property dealer was shot dead by four unidentified jacket-clad men while taking a morning walk in a park. The event is of past, so we should use second form of verb and shoot is to be removed by the use of shot. The auditions for India's first ever reality based pop band hunt is going on in full swing, with numerous entries coming in. Reality based is inappropriate to be used, so reality is the correct uses here. These days are the days of reality shows on TV. To curbing the spread of violence, authorities brought under curfew more areas in the state where three youths were killed. 2 plus V1 is to be used for showing the purpose, so curbing should be replaced by curb. Demand for diesel cars, which has been on the rise for the last few years, may dip as the government is increasing the price of the fuel, bringing it closer to that of petrol. No error. Not only was the actress over the moon as winning an award, but was also deeply touched by the support she got from the industry. Has should be replaced by on to make the syntax correct. The protesters went on a rampaging and set ablaze three shops, resulting in injuries to 30 people, including women and children. A is used inappropriately because there is no need of article to be used, so it is to be removed. Hectic schedule can take a toll on anybody, and the solution to this is a quick holiday to some exotic location. Solution should be replaced by solution so that the sentence becomes correct. The right to adequate food and clean drinking water should be regarded as a basic right of all citizens of India. Expression should be read as basic right to all that makes the syntax correct. A sharp fall in international price of tea have led tea plantation workers in Kerala to face starvation. If the subject is singular, then we should use singular verb, so have is to be replaced by has. In spite freedom of the press is vital to democracy, the thin line between reporting facts and expressing opinions on them is being increasingly crossed. In spite of is a phrase, and there should not be any change in its structure, hence of should be written just after in spite. In India, the teacher has been elevated to a position of power, and a part of that power has been to assuming the right to punish the students. After two, we should use assume as per the rules of infinitive. In the flying game, there are a host of new low-cost airlines that dare to roar, providing a glimmer of hope of more cheaper air transport to millions. We should remove more as it is superfluous with cheaper. A question were to ask is that whether the national awards represent pan-Indian cinema or is the focus on mainstream films only. What is followed by present participle form of verb, so asking is suitable. Indians, every single expectations from its cricket team invariably oscillates between a cynical pessimism and an unjustified optimism. Remove single which is superfluous to the use. Every is itself giving sense of singularity. The road Widening exercise who aims to make national highway a four-lane highway poses a threat to the fragile environment of the Himalayas. Who is inappropriate uses? It is to be used for person for things we use which hence which is suitable to be used here. In the aftermath of the Asian tsunami, the supporting community have responded swiftly to contribute in whatever way it could, both financially and qualitatively. Use has in place of have because the subject is singular in number. Seen as an indicator of the maturity of outsourcing business in India. The Indian outsourcing market is expected to grow to $11 billion by this year. Growth is a noun while we need a verb grow to be used here. Angered over the delay in giving compensations, factory workers shouted slogans against the president when he reached the office. Replace reached by arrived. Reach की जगह पे क्या कर देंगे arrive कर देंगे. It is suitable to use arrive that gives us the meaning to reach to a specific place. Also veto is required. The cascading effect of economic slowdown has brought a much unnerving gloom to the real estate industry last year, but the industry is looking up this year. Use of article a is not required here. Remove it to make the syntax correct. A recycling plant in close proximity to the residential area can pose serious threats from residents by leaving behind persistent pollutants. Threats is followed by 2. The government has the obligation to provide basic infrastructure facilities to regulating the process. Urbanization in the country. As per the rules of infinitives, we have to use 2 plus V1. 2 plus V1 to show a purpose. Excise duty is levied on the products of regulate the amount of tax. Bharatpur is transforming into India's most fastest growing bird sanctuary, attracting thousands of rare migratory birds from Europe and Siberia. Most fastest is not suitable to use. Use fastest only to avoid the superfluous of the sentence. Plagued by huge losses, full service airlines are struggling to cope with the competition from low cost airlines. Coirani volunteers of an NGO interacted with school students to spread awareness about environment related issues. Coirani, the union health minister, and said that there was an acute shortage of health personnel in rural areas who needed to be addressed urgently. Relative pronoun in the sentence is for shortage and thus we should use which in place of who. Even though most of India's youth lives in village, many people consider the ones roaming in dazzling multiplexes has their true reflection. Phrase most of agrees with plural verb, so live should be used. The RBI has proposed to introduce polymer notes after taking into considering the cost and longevity associated with their manufacturing. Considering should be replaced with consideration to make the syntax correct. While most major economics set aside about 3% of their GDP in research and development, India spends less than 1% on this. In is not meeting the exact sense of the sentence used for to make the sense correct. Owing to the poor quality of the equipment producing by Chinese firms, many foreign companies have placed orders with the India firms. To correct expression should read out as equipment produced by has it should be in passive voice. We expect a hike in the cash reserve ratio, which is the propo- which is the portion on deposits that banks keep the with RBI. No error unless these differences will be resolved soon. There will be an adverse effect on foreign investment. We resolve should be replaced by our resolve to make the syntax correct. We are confident that the steps we have taken to attract talented people. Attract talented people and build a solid organization will ensure we remain profitably. Profitably should be replaced by in profit that keeps the meaning of sentence. At a time which most firms were finding it difficult to raise money, we succeed in raising the necessary funds. For time reference, we don't use which but when. Everyone is keen is in knowing the forecast for the monsoon this year has it has been the major cause of inflation in Asia. Keen is followed 2 plus V1, so keen to know is correct expression. Building biogas plants will help to reduce greenhouse gas emission by reducing the consuming of conventional fuels such as firewood and kerosene. No error. Consuming should be replaced by consumption, which is proper use. Since some banks may take longer to achieve these targets, RBI has considered to revise these guidelines on a case-to-case basis. Considered is to replace with the use of decided. Consideration is to give a thought, while decision is to take steps. After joining the Hong Kong-based bank in 1990, he has had various departments including corporate and investment banking. Has have had is followed by past participle from verb. Initially shop owners tried to offer some resistance to the demolition, but seeing the heavy presence of the police force, their resistance fade off. Fade off is a correct use in this sentence that means to vanish. Cleanliness drives will be conducted in various localities to opening the drains blocked with polythene bags. For opening is correct expression to be used in the sentence. The result of the study showed that if the partners were willing to talk to each other and arrive at a mutually agreeable decision, the joint decision were more better than any one person's judgment. More is superfluous in nature and therefore it should be removed as better alone is enough to show the comparison. A year after the global financial crisis saw students from the best B schools across the world struggling for a job, a surgery on management education this year thrown up some rather interesting findings. Surgery is not a use but blunder. We have to use survey, not surgery. The district authorities are making a last-ditch attempt to provide alternative solution to farmers, but the option is clearly inadequate. No error. Sugar-sweetened drinks does not pose any particular health risk and are not a unique risk factor for obesity or heart disease. No error. The subject is plural in number, so the verb should also be in plural number. Airline management should note that the ultimate passenger unfriendliness is to have their planes crashed due to the adopted of unsafe procedures. Adopted should be replaced by adoption, that is a syncs with sentence. Adaptation of unsafe measures lead to poor health और इसी के साथ ये वाला पोर्शन हो जाता है समाप्त.